Hello there everyone and welcome back to Tune Talk Andy, or should I say Diet Talk Andy, because yes, we will be rebranding. I will essentially be moving all music onto another channel at some point. I will have to reconsider every aspect of that whole idea, but when it comes to this channel, yes, we will mostly just be talking about the diet that I am on, so we can keep track of it concisely without anything getting in the way. And I usually do tend to make a bit of a script so I have something to follow for each episode, especially the last two of the diet, I guess you could call, series. But this time around I thought, let's just speak man to man, so to speak. So first of all, in the last episode I talked about sugar and how that is really addictive and how that can affect someone's life, or how it will affect someone's life, I should say. I've just got to say, staying away from sugar now is much easier than it was a week ago, 2 weeks ago. So it's definitely going in the right direction, which is definitely what I expected, because it took roughly 14 days last time around, and we are now on the 14th day. But I would say I haven't really had a craving for sugar in like maybe 2 days now. I wouldn't really say that's an issue as of now. But I have been having quite a rough week, I'd say, at times. Now, on Monday and Tuesday, I did have fairly good amount of energy, I'd say, but I'm still in a bit of a rhythm where I wake up, this time around, as opposed to last year, I wake up pretty much instantly, right? Instead of needing plenty of minutes to get out of bed, I just wake up instantly, which is unheard of, to be honest. But other than that, when it comes to, like, as I'm at school or at work, my energy levels are usually a bit, they're usually fine, nothing to really point out, just me staying awake and doing my thing. No overload, no sudden crashes. But then as soon as I get home after the bus ride, everything just completely falls out of me and I just get completely exhausted. I don't even do a lot at school, I just sit there and listen. And so when I just get home and I either sit down in the couch or I sit down in front of my PC, I'll get so freaking tired and I will essentially just pass out. Not even by my own choice. This is sort of how it was before the diet, but this time around there is the change in, as I said, waking up instantly and being relatively fine throughout the day, other than as I get home. But the funny thing is, after this brief period of extreme tiredness as I get home, I'd say from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. maybe, then after that I'll be feeling completely fine. I'll even have a bit of an overload, I'd say. My energy just comes back. It might be because of, it's most probably because of dinner and stuff like that, because I usually eat at 4 and 5, so maybe it takes some time for my body to properly just, I don't know, get the energy from it. Again, I'm no expert, I do not know this, I'm just speaking from experience and how it feels. But as I said, Monday and Tuesday they were relatively fine, just pretty much the normal. But then we come to Wednesday. That was a rough day at school. I nearly fell asleep all the time, to be honest. It was a struggle. I woke up instantly that day and I got to school, but then as soon as I sat down I was depleted. But then again, I did notice that I didn't really drink a lot of water the day before, so that was definitely a contributing factor, because at the end of the day I was dehydrated, and that really did affect both energy levels and my performance as a whole. And so that is also another reason why water is extremely important and why staying hydrated is number one. But then we come on to, as I got home, as normal, I was exhausted. But I was pretty much exhausted throughout that entire day as well, so I didn't really get to do much. I just sort of passed out. I just slept, to be honest. But then the day after that, I actually had a bit of an overload. So this is really inconsistent for me as to how much energy I have throughout the day, and I'm not really sure what's making that happen, because I eat pretty much the same stuff, to be honest, with the odd exception of maybe including some pork or some chicken. But for the most part, it's red meat, which is what the diet suggests. So I might have some ground beef, or should I say minced meat, depends wherever you're from, whatever you say. But that's one way I usually either start the day or end the day. For dinner, I'll definitely have something a bit more fulfilling, I'd say. Something a bit more. But yeah, on that Thursday, I did have a lot of energy, and I can't really explain it. it was just as if I wanted to do a lot, but I couldn't really do a lot because I had a short day at school and I didn't really have much going on in terms of plans, and I couldn't really figure out what to do, so I was just kind of sat there with a lot of energy. So I decided to continue reading a book, and I read it quite a few pages, so that was really nice. But then we come to Friday, and on Fridays I essentially work as a step-in teacher at a primary school, and so I had third grade that day. And keep in mind, I never get to plan any of that stuff. I'm just brought in on the day, and they just tell me, okay, do this, and so I step in and do that. So I got a class of third graders for myself that I had to teach in certain subjects and certain areas. And the thing that I actually was told to talk about was a subject that I'm sort of best at, I'd say. Other than English, my best subject is most definitely Norwegian. So yeah, language related subjects. But the thing about Norwegian classes in Norway is that we don't just talk about the language and how to write and stuff. Though that was the majority of what we were supposed to do on that day, I actually decided to include something else as well into that teaching. I decided to just mention just quickly to these kids about critical thinking and the importance of that. I didn't go into detail because it's overwhelming for a child, so I just went into the typical thing of think things through before fully believing it, just essentially that, and that asking questions is better than remaining quiet. And they all found it really interesting to listen to. They all just went quiet for that brief period of time, and then after I said, that will be enough of that for today, we went on to what we were actually supposed to do, which is basically just talking about vowels and stuff. Just basic grammar, to be honest. But other than that, back to the diet. All of this teaching and the 8-hour workday with kids, being active with them and communicating with them throughout the entire day, this was extremely draining, and I had to do this whilst on low energy. So Friday was hell as I got home. I was extremely tired. I fell asleep pretty much immediately, but then dinner was ready like 30 minutes after I fell asleep or something. And then after I ate, I fell asleep for maybe 3 hours in a chair. And then, yeah, that day was just effed. Just completely effed. But some days will be different to others. I'm not sure exactly why it's as different as it tends to be these days. Like one day I'll be at 90%, the next day I'll be at 40, then I'll be at 100, then I'll be at 40, then I'll be at 30, then I'll be at 70. It's all just so weird, and I get roughly the same amount of sleep each day in terms of night sleep. If I'm extremely tired and I can't control it, that's when I'll have a nap during the day. But I do try to stay awake until bedtime as not to completely ruin the sleep schedule. But at times it's genuinely impossible for me. It's most probably due to both my celiac disease and what I'm eating, so I might have to reevaluate what I'm focusing mainly on. You guys did mention electrolytes being important, so I may have slacked a bit too much there. I did indeed include quite a significant amount more than I did during the very first week of the diet, but yeah, I feel like this week I may have slacked a bit too much, and that might be why. But I don't know. I do not know the scientifics of this. I just know the rough basic of what I should try and focus on and what I should most definitely avoid. So this is now 14 days into the diet. I've had no carbohydrates, I've had no sugar, no vegetables and stuff like that, just pure meat, eggs, salt, and water. I have not used any oils. I did see one of you guys mention that we're supposed to avoid oils and stuff like this, and yes, I'm aware of that because seed oils and plant oils are directly linked with heart disease, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I think that's it. And so avoiding that is essential to better your health, essentially. And so I've used butter, no special type of butter, just normal butter, because I don't really know what else to use. And I feel like it's such a small amount that it doesn't really matter to that extent. I have heard others melt down the butter first to then eliminate most of the lactose or something like that, most of the sugar, and then putting it in the fridge to then use it later as cooking oil. But to me, well, I say cooking oil, but as cooking butter, but to me that just sounds a bit excessive, and I use such a small amount that it really shouldn't matter at all. So that's what I've been doing. But then let's move on to Saturday and Sunday, and these days have actually been really good for my energy level. That's back at like 75% plus, so like 75% to, I'd say 90 or 95%. I've been feeling great. I've been doing really well. This is recorded on the Sunday, by the way, and yeah, my energy level is completely, it's great actually. I'm feeling productive, I'm feeling great. I've been talking to a lot of people during the weekend, and I've been trying to focus on things I want to do moving forward. And so, yeah, I have definitely been eating well this weekend. I had 3 pork chops on Saturday, and I had 4 slices of red meat, and my god, that was phenomenal. So damn tasty. And yeah, on Friday I had like chicken and then red meat again. I had this lovely steak, this lovely red meat piece of steak on Thursday. It was all big and nice, and oh, so juicy, man. And I will actually be showing a picture of this that I did eat quite soon, because I did get a few comments from my friends, because they were a bit like, "Whoa, you like your steak like that? Okay. Let's just say it was a bit red." I love it as raw as possible, to be honest. I just like to, it just needs to be heated, to be honest. So like I'll have it like maybe a minute or so on each side. Now this particular slice of meat was really thick, so it was difficult to really reach the core. So I would have liked it a bit more cooked, because it felt a bit room temperatured, and that's just not for me personally. I do want it to be heated, but I do want it to be red, because that's when you get all the juices, and it's phenomenal. That's when it's good. That's when it's absolutely phenomenal. But regardless, yeah, as I said, the diet so far has been going really well, but there are, of course, some ups and downs that I have been talking about, and I'm really intrigued to hear what you guys think may be causing that. It might be just because that's part of the rough period and the detoxing period from all of the food that I've digested back in the day. Again, I don't know. But I was indeed warned, as I said in my last rendition of this diet talk. It does take quite a few weeks to months to get, I'd say, almost completely cured. Cured is such a dumb word to use, but to feel good again, to be honest. To just put it as frankly as possible, to start feeling good again. To start living normally, and as you should. But as I also did mention, on the 18th, so in 4 days, I will be taking blood samples just to track how things are going. I did order this before the diet because I haven't really checked my blood in like 2 years maybe, and I have celiac disease, so I do actually need to get annual visits to check that out, just to be sure that I'm eating what I'm supposed to eat and that I get all the nutrients I need. So yeah, first of all, that's why I'm taking the blood samples, but secondly, I also will get to see just roughly where I'm at, because it's really interesting to see that stuff. But now, other than that, I will also talk to my doctor briefly about what he thinks of this diet and what he has heard and researched, if he has researched anything. Now, he is a family doctor that I'm not sure what his specialty is, but I mean, a family doctor, he's pretty much just the guy you talk to if you have any issues, and he will just send you to someone else to get more of a deep dive. But yeah, I've had this doctor for my entire life, ever since I was born, so he knows pretty much everything. He's been paying attention to yeah. But yeah, I'll talk to him and I'll listen to what he has to say, but that's not going to throw me off the diet immediately, because I believe in proof instead of words. So I need to feel how it affects my body across the next weeks before I make a proper assessment. But it will still be interesting to hear his side of the argument, because I do not believe in just reading a book, listening to some doctors, and then fully going all in. Because words are words, and people might have confused fact with opinions. And so I need to feel these changes, I need to witness it, and once, or if I do that, I'll have my answer. But that's why I think critical thinking is extremely important, because you can't just take people's words for things every damn time, because that's how you just meet sort of a stalemate and you just live your life as if you know everything, when in reality half of the things you've heard are based off of other people's opinions and what they think. And so again, I need factual proof alongside evidence for me to actually believe this. And people may show me graphs, people may show me some statements or studies, but then again, studies and graphs can be read differently. So just to round things up, as I've said, I'll listen to my body, because I believe in our instincts, that our body knows what it wants. So with all that said, I'm looking forward to this next week, and I will see you guys again on Sunday. Stick around. Have a good one.